Encore une fois, si vous avez des questions, n'hésitez pas à lever la main et je vous passe le microphone. Merci. Okay.
Bonsoir Bruno.
Hi Bruno, good evening. I mean, is this the greatest feat in the history of Olympique Lyonnais to win here this evening? Well, I'm not sure if it's the greatest feat we've ever pulled off, or the club's ever pulled off. I mean, the club has been involved in lots of important European games in the past as well. So I'm not going to say it's the greatest achievement ever, but it is an achievement, absolutely. And I think across the entire 90 minutes, it's well deserved. I think we're extremely proud, and but that wasn't the only thing we need to achieve this season. You know, we need to follow this up not only in Europe but in our domestic league, starting on Sunday against a team which, you know, is also worthy of playing in Champions League. Good evening. I think this evening we had the impression that everything worked. Your plan worked. Everything worked. So, you know, what was your plan? What did you put in place today to make sure that you're able to pull off that result? Well, we decided to play as high as possible and to get very close to them. You know, they like to build up from the back, so we wanted to get as close as possible, get as high as possible, to have two lines of four, play very compactly, and players in the midfield who are able to play the ball out, even under pressure, because we know that they're a very good team, particularly in the transition phase as well. So we wanted to have Maxwell Cornet, who can play from deep, and we thought that he'd be an ideal player to have in that position, to be able to push up really highly. And then you know, we have talented players who make the decision, but we're extremely well organised, we were extremely well disciplined, and tactically, defensively. But by the same token, we wanted to play our game as well. We didn't want to just shut up shop. Hi Bruno, as you said, a great deal of discipline, but Nabil Fekir had a great game and also scored a goal. Well, I just spoke about talented players, didn't I? Absolutely. I mean, Nabil showed that our captain's back. He really is. Our captain's back. I know that I can count on him, absolutely. And he played a decisive role in this evening's victory. He made a goal, scored a goal, but that wasn't it. He also led by example, particularly when we were not in possession, and particularly when we were in possession. He helped to get our team up the pitch. He also was fouled quite a bit as well, and he led us. But sometimes you tend to focus on the players who score goals. But today I'd like to say, no, this is a team's victory, a collective victory. Sometimes there are games where things don't always work out as we want them to, but today I'm really proud of what the players showed out there on the pitch. Hi, Bruno. I'm over here, look. Yeah. What about from an individual point of view? Do you think that's your most successful performance from a tactical point of view? Particularly given the criticism you've received, you must feel really pleased with yourself. You must even feel as if you've kind of like vindicated yourself, or it's a feeling of revenge. Well, no, not at all, not at all. The most important thing for me is to work hard. And to know, I think, that the players are behind me, the group of players are behind me, the staff are behind me, and my president's behind me as well. That's the most important thing. I don't feel vindicated. It's not a question of getting revenge over my critics. I'm really proud of what we've achieved, proud of what we put out there on the pitch today. And sometimes things work, sometimes they don't. That's the way it is, I guess, but that is football. You have to be humble constantly, and you have to be prepared to challenge yourself all the time. So, you know, you should never draw definitive conclusions from any performance, whether it's a victory or a defeat. Is that okay? Great, thank you very much. Oh no, not quite. What sort of momentum do you hope that this is going to give you now for the rest of the season, and being both the Champions League and in Ligue 1? Are you just saying do you think it's just a one-off, what you've achieved this evening? Well, it's a huge achievement this evening, don't get me wrong, but obviously it's going to give us a lot of food for thought in the future, a lot of momentum. in the Champions League, back in France as well. You know, we need to be aware of the fact that when we all pull together, when we all work hard, when we all put in the effort that we put in this evening, we're a quality, talented group of players that is capable of winning games wherever we play. But we have to be consistent, of course. We have to play with continuity. We have to be disciplined. We have to make sure that we are all prepared to make efforts for everyone else as well, and make sacrifices for our teammates. I think they're the kind of lessons that we need to learn from this evening's performance if we want to progress, move forward, if we want to have good results in the long term, the kind of results that are expected of a team like Olympique Lyonnais. Okay, last question. Well, when people see this kind of performance compared to other performances thus far this season, people don't understand how you can play so well and then also so badly. You understand that because sometimes people have the impression that your team isn't that committed because everything you showed this evening you haven't really shown thus far this season, and that's why people find it difficult to understand because this team is capable of great performances just as it's capable of producing poor performances. Well, it just also shows that we're capable of bouncing back, of providing this kind of a performance. But sure, we need to look at this in the long term as well, because over the last 3 seasons, I think now, we have achieved good results. Perhaps we haven't been as consistent as we'd like to have been in other competitions, but certainly if you look where we finished in the French league over the last 3 years, it hasn't been that disastrous, far from it. So quite clearly, we know that there's definitely room for manoeuvre. Absolutely, we're one of the youngest teams in France, I think second only to Lyon. You told me that, by the way. It was your newspaper who told me that. And so I think that this team needs to grow, it needs to mature, and certainly this type of a game can help us massively from that point of view. Thank you.